Hey there, I'm Caroline. Thank you so much for stopping by this channel, checking out this yoga class. I've got a class here today that will take us through some balance, some strength, some stretching, a little bit of everything, kind of focusing on the hips and lower body. It'll be a beginner-friendly class, so whatever level you're at, you can make this work for you. I've got a few props behind me as well. You'll see I have a strap, a yoga strap. You could use a belt in place of this if you'd like. And I may not use it, but I will cue a couple of options if you'd like to. Blocks if you'd like them or to have them nearby. You could also use a couple of larger books. And then a blanket because we will be doing some poses on our hands and knees today. So if you have a harder surface underneath you or a thinner mat, you may want to put the blanket underneath your knees for those specific poses. I do have my dogs in class today as well, as you can see. So there's one over there and one here. Hopefully they're not getting up to too much hijinks while we're practicing, but I may have to get up and pause it every now and then. We'll see what happens. There are no vinyasas or chaturangas in this class, so that might appeal to you. I will have other classes with those elements in the future, but we'll go ahead and get started. We'll lay down on our backs in Shavasana. Legs out long, arms down by your sides. You might want to roll the shoulders down the back a little bit. And maybe flip the palms up, or you can rest the palms on your belly. If laying out flat doesn't feel too great on your low back, you're welcome to bend the knees, plant the soles of the feet down, and give some more support to that lower back area. Once you've found a position that works for you, go ahead and bring some deeper awareness to your breathing. Increasing the depth of your inhales, filling the belly with air. And hugging the navel in toward the spine on your exhale, helping you to expel that air and lightly engaging your core. Relaxing through the shoulders and upper body. We're not here for too long. Just taking a moment to bring some awareness to our breath. It might be the first time you've thought about your breath today and the quality of it. On your next inhale, let's take a nice big stretch. Inhale, reach the arms overhead, point the toes, reach through the fingertips. Inhale here. Take a nice big exhale out the mouth and relax. Big sigh. Taking a moment here to bring some awareness to how we feel right now at the beginning of class. Maybe you could find a word or two that describes how you feel. And we'll come back to that at the end of class as well. Not attaching any emotion to the feeling, just noticing, gathering information. You can go ahead and flutter your eyes open. Bring the right knee in, hugging it toward your chest. And take your hands, allowing the hands to guide the knee into some knee circles or hip circles. I'm going to use my right hand, let my left hand fall to the side. Just bringing some mobility and movement into the right hip. See if you can extend the width of your circle, making it nice and big, if that feels comfortable for you. And switch directions, so taking the knee the opposite way, drawing those nice big circles. Pause in the middle. Set the ball of the foot down to your mat. Pick up the hips and just stack them slightly so that you can bring the knee across the body for a gentle spinal twist. Right hand extends out long beside you. We don't want to go too far. We're just warming up the spine. Breathing into it. Try to keep the right shoulder down on the mat. Maybe allowing your gaze to come over the right hand, bringing a little bit of neck movement into it. Inhale, come back through center. And we'll take the right knee into the right hand. Allow the knee to fall open to the right. Opening up that hip. Again, just taking it a little bit, a little ways, not going too far. In the beginning of class here, we're just warming up, bringing some movement in. We'll switch sides, so hug both knees in, give them a little squeeze, and then send the right leg out long, left knee hugs in. Inhale. And exhale. Left hand to left knee, taking those same big knee circles. Drawing some nice large circles up toward the ceiling, maybe toward the sky if you're outside. Might feel some popping and cracking, and that is normal as long as there's no pain. If you feel pain, take it back a notch. If you haven't switched directions, go ahead and do that. And then we'll pause in the center. Drop the ball of the left foot down to the mat to press it into the ground and pick up your hips, and then stack the hips over each other so you can bring the left knee across toward the right side of your body. Left arm comes out nice and long. Very gentle spinal twist here. Maybe the neck joins in and gazes over the left hand. Take one more inhale and exhale. And then we'll come back through center. Inhale. Adjusting the hips as you need to. And then taking the knee open to the left side. So left hand to left knee, dropping the hip open. Inhale, come back through center. Let's hug both knees in and begin to rock up to a seat. You can come to a seat however you would like, but I'm going to rock back and forth a couple times. And then we'll come to a comfortable seat. Sitting up nice and tall, hands can rest on the knees, palms face down. Roll the shoulders up, back and down. Keeping that same awareness of your breath, noticing the belly expand on the inhale. And navel pull in towards spine on the exhale. Let's take some hip circles from here, some Sufi circles. So just leaning forward, using your hands on the knees to help you. Moving the torso around the world. Front, side, back, and side. Maybe as you come forward, you reach the chest forward, pulling with the hands, and as you come back, rounding through the back. You can pause wherever it feels good. And then switch directions. Up to you if you want to pull the chest forward on the front side and round, coming through the back. Take one more round right here. And we'll come into our neutral seated position, sitting up nice and tall, low belly pulling in, reaching from the crown of the head toward the ceiling. Lengthening the spine, chin parallel to the ground, maybe slightly tucked, keeping the back of the neck long. Take an inhale and an exhale. Hands can come down to sides, and then we'll reach up, gaze up toward the hands, keeping the low belly pulled in. Gently bring the hands down through heart center, and we'll do a little hand warm up here. So separate the fingers except for the thumbs, keeping the tips of the thumbs touching. Roll the shoulders back and down. Spread wide through the fingertips. Go ahead and take your gaze down to your hands. Coming onto macro mode with the eyes here. Take your gaze and scan across the fingernails, maybe down into the valleys of the fingers. Once or twice, back and forth. Really bringing some awareness to your hands. Making a mind-body connection here. We'll be using our hands as our base of support for a lot of our class today. So we really want to have a great mind-body connection and make it early in the class, since we'll be using our hands a lot. Spread through the fingertips, feel some strength. And then bring the heels of the hands together, forming a little lotus flower shape. Reach the hands away, drop the head down, round through the back. Inhale, pull it back in, sit up nice and tall. And then we'll bring each fingertip to touch one at a time. Bringing the gaze to the fingers. Peel the heels of the hands away as you press through the fingertips here. Turning on some of the muscles on the front side of the body, maybe through the armpit, pecs, chest area. Sitting up nice and tall here. And breathing deeply. Coming back through a round of that once more. Separate through the hands, thumb points are touching. Spread the fingers wide. Gazing at the palms or the back of the hands. Bringing the heel of the hands together. Pinkies and thumbs are touching. Spread the fingertips wide. Reach them out away from you, round through the back. Inhale, come back through center. Each fingertip will touch once more. And then peel the heel of the hands away, press through the fingertips. Nice. Just a little bit of pressure here, turning on those front body muscles. Maybe bringing the core into it by pulling the low belly in and up. Extending your breath to reach into the side body. So when your low belly is pulled in, breathing into the sides of the body, feeling the ribs expand. Exhale, relax the elbows down. Let's clasp the fingertips. Notice which thumb you have on top. We'll switch that later. Press the palms away, round through the back, drop the head. Exhale. Inhale, reach up, press the palms toward the ceiling. Gain a little bit of height. And then side bending to your right. Gazing up, rolling that left shoulder back, opening the chest. Dropping the right hand down, left palm can flip and reach a little bit further. Inhale, coming back up, gazing at the hands. Exhale, palms through heart center. Let's clasp the hands the more unusual way. So other thumb on top. Flip the palms, reach them out away. Drop the head, round the back. Tucking the tailbone under slightly as you do this. Inhale, reaching the arms up to the sky. And side bending to your left. Rotating that right shoulder back, dropping left hand down, right hand can reach a little further. You could even press into the left hand to help you rotate the chest open toward the sky. Inhale, coming back up. Exhale, hands through heart center. Nicely done. Let's come into tabletop pose, hands and knees, so it's a good opportunity to grab your blanket if you wanted to have something supportive under your knees. Take your time to get here, finding your wrists underneath your shoulders, fingers spread nice and wide, knees directly under your hips, about hip width apart, and feet directly behind you. We'll go into some rounds of cat and cow. So pressing through the fingertips, exhale, tuck the tailbone, drop the head, round through the back. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, curl your tailbone up toward the ceiling. Exhale, round through the back, pull low belly in, press through the tops of the feet and the hands. Inhale, belly drops, gaze is lifted. Take one or two more rounds here with your breath rhythm. And we'll meet in a neutral tabletop when you finish your next round. Taking a similar motion, we'll do some tail wags. So I'm going to look over my right shoulder and sort of pull my right hip and right shoulder toward one another. So I'm compressing through the right side and expanding through the left side of my body. I'm also bringing my gaze into it by looking back toward my right hip. Coming back through center, inhale. Exhale, left side, gazing over left shoulder. Bring the left shoulder and left hip toward one another. Inhale through center. Exhale, right side. So if you were looking at yourself from above, you'd almost be making a letter C right now by bringing the right hip and right shoulder toward one another. Inhale through center. Exhale, left side. Last one, with your own breath. Could be as slow or as quick as you like. Nicely done. Let's go ahead and extend the right leg back. So keeping the fingers spread nice and wide, pressing through the fingertips, bringing some weight out of the wrists. Toes are touching the ground, right leg extended nice and long. Use the hands, press back so you can feel a nice stretch through the right calf. And we'll inhale to come forward onto the hands a little bit more as you hover the right leg off the mat. Internally rotating that leg so the right toes and right knee are pointing down directly to your mat. Press through the hands, find some strength here, pull low belly in. If you'd like to add on, pick up the left hand, reach it out long in front of you. Right heel, left fingertips moving in opposite directions. Exhale, left hand comes down and right knee comes down. Switching sides, left leg goes out behind you, coming onto the toes, pressing through the hands so you can get a nice deep stretch into the left calf. Noticing our breathing here. Inhale, coming forward, lifting the left leg off the mat, knee and toes pointing straight down, so flexing the left foot. Inhale, if you'd like to add on, reach right arm up in front of you. See if you can extend or reach the right fingertips and left heel in opposite directions. Right hand comes down, exhale, left knee comes down. From here, let's press it back to a child's pose. So maybe walk the knees back just a hair. Press the hips down toward the heels. Arms extend out long in front of you. Hips don't need to touch the heels here, just going as far as feels good to you. Whatever is within your range of motion today. You could also keep the knees closer together or spread them wide apart, yogi's choice. Know that this pose is available to you at any time if you need to take a rest. Come into child's pose. Maybe massaging the forehead down onto the mat, rolling it side to side. Finding some grounding and some safety in this pose is always an option at any point in yoga. We'll come back into tabletop, but first go ahead and press the hands down into the mat. Pressing the palms into the mat. Imagine rotating the arms so that the eyes of the elbows are beginning to either face each other or face up to the ceiling. And then plug the shoulders down. Reach the shoulders down the back. Feel that activation and engagement turn on. And then as you press the palms into the mat, reach your head toward the hands. Begin to slowly pull yourself up into tabletop as if you were doing a pull-up on the floor. Keeping that muscle activation through the back. Inhale, coming up to your tabletop pose. Just a little bit of a different way to do child's pose with some activation there. Inhale, right leg comes back, toes touch the mat. Hover the leg up a few inches. Externally rotate the leg so that your right toes point away from you this time. And then pull the right knee up toward your elbow. Drop it down to hover, and then shoot it back out once again. Externally rotate so toes are facing away from you. Hug the right knee in, drop it down to hover, and shoot it back. Let's put this together into some hip circles, making one nice fluid motion here. Trying to keep even weight in both hands. Switching directions. And then set the foot back down behind you. Adding on to that, inhale, pick up the right leg, hug it up toward your elbow, shoot it out straight to the side, and drop the sole of the foot down to your mat. So right leg is extended out straight, coming into gate pose. You can walk onto your fingertips, maybe pausing here to feel a nice stretch through the inner thigh, rocking back and forth. And then we'll walk the hands up to the hips. Inhale, coming all the way up. Gate pose. I will face this direction so you can see me. So lifting up nice and tall through the top of the head. Taking a breath here. Right hand slides down the right leg as left arm reaches up and over. Don't have to go too far. Simply gazing up toward the hand and reaching the left fingertips up toward the sky is great. Pressing the sole of the foot down into the mat. Inhale, come back through center. Look at the right toes and rotate the legs so the toes point up toward the ceiling. Drag the heel in slightly, so we're bending deeply through the knee, ankle aligned underneath the knee, and we'll bend into the knee a little bit deeper, finding a low lunge here. So just keep an eye on your ankle, keep it underneath the knee as you bend. You can also bring right hand out to right knee, keeping it pressing over the pinky toe side of the foot. Take a breath right there, finding some length in the spine, shoulders back and down. Inhale, come back through center, and you can heel toe or just pick up the foot. We're coming into a low lunge. So I'll give you the side view once again. Low lunge here. Right leg is bent deeply. Knee is under the ankle, ankle is under the knee. Lifting up nice and tall, maybe slightly tucking the pelvis down or imagining lifting the hip bones up. Taking your hands behind your head, go ahead and side bend to your right, toward the direction of your bent leg. Feeling a nice stretch through the left hip flexors, left side body, keeping that left shoulder rotating back. Maybe even take the right hand, bring it across the body. Make a connection here. Bring some awareness to the left side of the body. Feeling that stretch. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale, arms reach high toward the sky. Flip the palms toward the ceiling and hinge forward, hands framing the right foot. Finding a comfortable spot here. If you need to place 2 blocks underneath the hands, that would work as well. Bring some weight into the left hand, reach the right arm up to the sky. Easy twist. Pressing through the left hand, breathing deeply. You can use your breath to help you modify your practice as well. So if you're noticing things are coming really easily, the breath is flowing, but maybe your mind is wandering, you may want to add on a little bit of difficulty to a pose. So you could tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee off the mat, find a little bit more challenge in both balance and strength. If you lifted the back knee, you can drop it back down. Plant the right hand down to the inside of the right foot. So let me turn around so you can see what I'm doing. I'm planting my right hand on the inside of my right foot, and I'm going to press my knee and my tricep, or the back of the arm, into one another. Take a moment, just feel that engagement. Relax it, and then press them into one another. Feel the right leg muscles turn on. Bring some weight into the right hand. Left hand will glide up the right arm, back and forth, using your inhale and exhale to guide you. And following the hand with your gaze, bringing the neck and cervical spine into it. Take a few rounds here on your own. Mobilizing the spine. Bringing some strength into the leg and arm. Keep pressing the ground away with the right hand. On your next exhale, set the left hand down, frame the right foot with the hands, tuck the back toe under, lift the back knee, and we'll come into our crescent lunge. So find your strength and stability in your legs and lift up, reaching arms up high toward the ceiling. Slight bend in the back left leg, deep bend in the right. You can feel free to heel toe or widen your stance if you need a little bit more room for the hips. We want to keep the hip bones square and pointing forward. So give yourself as much room as you need. Take one more round of breath right here, rolling shoulders back and down, reaching through the fingertips. And then we'll flip the palms, set the back knee down, hinge at the waist, dropping the hands down, coming back into tabletop, but first making a pit stop in our child's pose, setting the hips down to the heels. Finding that same activation in the arms, so pressing through the palms, rotating the shoulders open so that the eyes of the elbows face each other or face kind of up toward the ceiling. Not directly, most likely, but at a bit of an angle. And then plug the shoulders down. Feel the activation in the back. It might feel a little bit unnatural, but we're not used to turning those muscles on. Oftentimes the back side of our body gets a little weaker because of the postures that we hold on a regular basis. Looking at our phones, watching TV, working on the computer. The muscles back there are not adequately turned on in a lot of cases. So we can help our backs become more familiar and strong by adding these tiny little movements into our yoga practice. Begin to inhale and pull yourself forward into into tabletop pose. Doing a little pull up here. And then extending the arms, adjusting the knees. We'll repeat that on the second side. Notice the fingertips, are they spreading nice and wide? Are the tips of the fingers pressing into the ground? Slight space down underneath the knuckles when we press our fingertips down. Left leg extends out behind you, toes touching the mat. Hover the left leg off the ground. Turn the toes out so they face away from your body and hug the left knee up toward your elbow. Drop it down to hover and shoot it back out behind you. Rotate the leg, toes point out. Squeeze the left knee up to the left elbow. Drop the leg and shoot it back out. Taking a few rounds, putting that all together into one big hip circle. See if you can keep even weight in the hands. We have a tendency to want to dump the weight into the right side or lean onto the right side. Switch directions. Breathing deeply. When you finish your last round, set the leg behind you, toes to the ground. Take an inhale and an exhale. On the next inhale, hover the leg off the mat, turn the toes out, crunch the knee up toward your elbow, and extend it out to the side, setting the sole of the foot down to the mat with a straight left leg. Maybe finding a little bit of stretch here through that left inner thigh. Coming up onto fingertips might feel good, rocking back and forth. Bringing some awareness to how this side feels compared to the other, without attaching to it or judging it, just letting it be. When we gather information like this about our bodies, it's not to judge ourselves or to tell ourselves this is my bad side, or to say I should be doing something differently. We're just gathering information, learning so that we can best support our bodies and make adjustments in our own exercise and fitness practices. Inhale, walk the hands up, hands come to hips, gate pose. I'll turn to face you. Left leg is out nice and long, toes are pointed forward. Back toes could be tucked under if you'd like, or untucked to the top of the foot is pressing into the ground. Either way, yogi's choice. Left hand reaches down the leg, right arm reaches up toward the ceiling. Lifting up through the fingertips. Spreading wide through the fingers, keeping that whole arm and wrist active. Inhale, coming back up. Rotate the left toes and legs so that the toes point toward the ceiling, and then drag the heel in a little bit. Coming into that lunge on the left side. Deeply bend into the left knee as far as feels good to you. Keeping in mind, we want our ankle under the knee, so adjust the foot wherever it needs to go. Maybe putting the left hand out, gently pressing the knee back in space so that it's guided over the left pinky toe. And then find a pause here. Time for an inhale and exhale. Lengthening the crown of the head toward the sky. Inhale, coming back up. You can heel toe or pick up the left foot for your low lunge on the left side. Hands come behind the head. We'll side bend over to our left. So toward the left front bent leg. Stretching out through right side body, maybe bringing the hand over to the right side. Bringing some awareness, mind-body connection to this side, noticing if it feels any different. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe both sides are pretty tight. Maybe both sides are pretty loose. Take one more inhale and exhale. And then we'll come back up through center, inhaling, reaching the arms up overhead, finding some length through the spine, and flatten the palms toward the sky, hinging forward to set down the hands and frame the left foot. Weight comes into the right hand for your twist, guiding the left hand up toward the sky, following the hand with your gaze, adding neck movements into our yoga practice consistently so that we can build our range of motion. Exhale, left hand comes down. It'll come down to the inside of the left foot this time. Press the left tricep and left knee into one another. And again, just take a moment here to feel that activation. Relax it, and then press them into one another. Notice the activation in the legs and arm. Right hand will glide up the left, reaching up toward the sky. Not only is this great for your back, it's also a little balance challenge. Allow your breath to guide you, and maybe see if you can even extend the length of your movement to match the length of your inhale and exhale. So as you finish the breath, you're still finishing your movement. Last one. Placing hands down, framing the left foot. Tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee. And we'll come into our crescent lunge. Slight bend in the back knee, back heel is lifted. All 10 toes are pointing toward the front of the mat, or the back of the mat, depending on which way you're facing. But all 10 toes are pointing the same way. Inhale, find some length. Maybe bring the hands to the back of the head this time, side bending toward your left. trying it with this even further challenge to your balance. Inhale, come back through center. Find your balance. Hug low belly in. Hands reach up. Flip the palms to face the ceiling and drop them down to the mat. Coming back to tabletop pose and child's pose. Let's come into our tabletop, and we're going to add on here. So we're going to do a couple poses that we've already done, adding on for a little bit of a balance challenge and hip flexor strengthening. Go ahead and bring the right foot forward in between the hands. Tuck the back toes, lift the back foot or back knee, and we'll come into our crescent lunge once again. So right foot forward, slight bend in the back knee. From here, hands can come to heart center, or they can rest on the waist. And we'll bring some weight into the right foot to stand on the right leg and pull the left knee in. Tiny micro bend in the right knee, so we don't want to lock out that knee. Exhale, send it back, slow and with control. Notice your shoulders, are they rolled back and down? Inhale, step forward. We'll do that 3 more times. Exhale back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Last one. Inhale, holding it here. Find your balance. If you wobble, that's okay. Taking the left hand to the left knee, guide it open to the side. Maybe coming into tree pose, placing the sole of the foot to the inner thigh, to the inner calf, or toes down to the mat. Finding your version, whatever feels good to you. Spreading through the right toes, pressing down and away from the ground with all 4 corners of the right foot. You can even press the left foot and right leg into one another for added stability. Maybe growing your tree. Keep low belly hugging in and up internally for that core strength and stability. If you want to challenge, you can try closing your eyes. Allow yourself to wobble. And if you fall out, that is okay. Just experiment with it, play with it. Give yourself a moment to try something outside your comfort zone, and no judgment. When you're ready, we'll meet back with hands at heart center. Pull the knee in and pull it up as we had it a moment ago. Holding here, I'm going to turn to face the side so you can see what I'm doing. Exhale, step forward as if you were going to walk. Back heel is lifted. Then reverse it, pulling back this time. So stepping forward, back heel lifts, plant the back heel down, reverse it. Taking a couple more, just like that. Hands can rest wherever feels good. On your next one, we'll come into Warrior 3. Left foot plants down to the mat. Find your weight in the left foot as you pick up the back foot, hovering it off the ground. Internally rotating the right leg so that the right toes and right knee are pointing down to the ground. We may be just at a slight angle here. We may want to keep the toes touching down to the mat for balance. Just playing with slightly lifting it and setting it back down if you need to. Slight bend in the left front knee. We don't want to lock that knee out. And again, just take a moment here to play with it. See if you can hover a little deeper. Maybe releasing the hands or coming to heart center with the hands. Breathing deeply. On your next exhale, bend deeply into the left knee. Set the right foot down. We'll come into a wide-legged stance here. I'm going to clasp my hands behind my back. Notice which thumb I have on top. And then I'm going to drop the hands down as I inhale, lifting the chest. Breathing into the chest, expanding through the shoulders. Expanding through the heart. Pulling shoulder blades together. Really only lifting through the chest here. I'm not doing too much of a back bend or anything. Just lifting the chin, gazing up. Exhale, shake it out. And now we should have our left foot forward, so we'll come into our left crescent lunge. So turning the toes, left foot forward, slight bend in the back knee. Inhale, arms rise. All 10 toes pointing the same direction. Back right heel is lifted. Find some strength here. Allow a smile to cross your face. Hands can come to the back of our head and side bend to the left this time. Feeling that stretch. Inhale, come back up. Find your balance. Hands can rest on the waist, and we'll take our steps forward. Bring your weight and awareness to the left foot. Inhale, pull the right knee in. Exhale, step it back. Inhale, pull it in. Finding your breath and your rhythm here. Repeat this a couple of times. Nice and controlled. On your next inhale, hover the leg, hold it there. You can grab right knee with right arm and pull the right knee open to the side, hanging out here if you would like, or bringing the sole of the foot down to the ground, to the calf, or to the inner thigh. Breathing here. Hands wherever is comfortable, yogi's choice. Rooting down through the left foot, gently spreading through the toes, imagining pressing the right foot and left leg into one another. Maybe growing your tree. Take a moment here, experiment, play on this side, notice how it's different. Option to close your eyes. Allowing yourself to wobble. When you're wobbling, you're building some strength in those ankle muscles, the feet, the calves. So that's okay. You don't have to be perfectly still. No tree ever is. Wherever you are, come back through heart center. Knee hugs in, and we'll come into our warrior 3 little activity here. So find your balance, step it forward with the right foot, back left heel is lifted. Reversing it, setting the back heel down, pulling right knee up. Hands can rest wherever feels good. Pulling the low belly in internally, turning on the core will help you here. Inhale. Exhale. Take one more. And exhale, step forward. Bring weight into the right foot, spread through the toes, gentle bend in the right knee as you pick up the back foot, hovering it off the ground. Warrior 3. Feeling nice and strong here. Pulling shoulder blades back and together. Opening up through the chest. Arms can reach out long behind you, maybe even in front of you. And feel free to just experiment once again. So maybe tapping the toe down and then playing with lifting it up. Just find a rhythm that works for you here. You're really building that brain and body connection, improving your balance and coordination. Wherever you are, take one more breath. Inhale, deep bend in the right knee, set the back foot down, our wide-legged stance, and I'll face backwards so you can see what I'm doing. Spreading nice and wide through the legs, toes slightly pointing out toward the top corners of your mat. Clasp the hands, notice which thumb you have on top this time. Drop the hands down as you straighten the arms to spread across the chest, squeezing shoulder blades together. Inhale. Exhale, release, shake it out. And we'll turn our right foot toward the front of the mat, slightly bend through that knee and step forward to the top of your mat, mountain pose. Roll the shoulders back and down, palms face forward, maybe pulling in the low belly, feeling some length in the spine. And let's just come into a brief chair pose as we lower down to the ground. So bring some weight into the heels as you sit the hips down, arms rise, shoulders back and down. And you can begin lowering. If you want to come up onto your tiptoes, you can try that. Or you can stay in your chair, weight mostly in the heels, beginning to lower. Wherever you find your edge or your limit, go ahead and just bring the arms down to assist you down to a seat. Taking it down as far as you can, and we'll lower down onto our back. Bring the palm or the soles of the feet toward the glutes, so deep bend in the knees. Just take a moment here, finding a supportive position. So really connect the low back to the mat. You can press the soles of the feet down into the ground to help you do this. Take a breath right here. And then we'll come into a couple rounds of bridge pose. Soles of the feet are planted down, palms are flipped down to face the mat, and roll the shoulders back and down. From here, take an inhale. Exhale, press the back of the shoulders, the upper arms, forearms, and palms into the ground. Feel that activation. Feel the chest slightly lift. Exhale, relax it. And we'll put that together with the feet and hips as well. So this time our hips will rise. Take an inhale. Exhale, press the back of the arms, the palms into the mat. Press the soles of the feet and lift the hips up. Keep some room at the front of the neck. So notice if your neck is crunching down to your chest. Lift it slightly so you have room to breathe. Inhale, squeeze the glutes, lift a little higher. Exhale, lower down slowly. Taking one more just like that. Inhale. Exhale as you press the shoulders, arms and palms, soles of the feet, and lift the hips. glute strength is something you are working on, feel free to squeeze the glutes here, allowing you to lift a little higher, opening up the hip flexors on the front side. Lift a tiny bit higher, and then exhale, lower down slowly. Staying here with the knees bent, pick up the right leg, cross the right ankle over the left knee. We're going to come into reclined pigeon. So if you're in this position here and you feel a nice deep stretch through the right glute and right outer leg, you can stay here and take your palm pressing the knee back in space, making sure to keep the the right foot flexed. And that could be your reclined pigeon. If you'd like to feel it a little deeper, keep the right foot flexed, keep this idea of the knee pressing back as you reach through the opening of the legs and pull the left knee in. I like to use my right elbow to keep my knee pressing back. Breathing deeply, releasing that right outer glute, right hip. See if you can relax through that right hip a little bit more. You might like to rock side to side. Exhale, set the left foot back down slowly. Inhale, lift the right leg toward the sky and straighten the left. Here's where you might like to use a strap. If you want to, you could take your strap and place it across the top of your foot. Or you could simply just grab the back of your thigh or the calf, gently pulling the leg toward you. A little stretch through the hamstring, maybe into the calf. Whatever option you chose, if you don't have a strap, that's totally fine. We're going to drop the right knee or the right foot open to the right. Slowly letting it drop to wherever the end range is. Breathing deeply. You can also just keep this right leg bent like we did at the beginning of class. So pulling the knee in and just dropping the right knee open, keeping it bent. Whatever feels better. On your next inhale, slowly make your way back to center using your hands to help you. Touch the ball of the right foot down to the mat, pick up the hips and stack them, and then we'll take our reclined twist on this side. Maybe bringing the neck into it by gazing over the right hand. Winding down our practice. Inhale, come back through center. Hug both knees in, adjust your hips, and we'll switch sides. So this time, right sole of the foot comes down to the mat as you pick up the left and cross it over the right knee. Keeping that left foot nice and flexed. If this feels good right here, just take a palm to the left knee, gently pressing it back in space as you flex the left foot. And that might feel good enough. If you want to add on, you can place the left hand through the opening in the legs. Right hand comes outside as you pull the right knee in. Making any little adjustments till you find a place you can pause in stillness for a few breaths. Exhale, set down the right foot. And we'll pull the left knee in, extending left leg up to the sky. Right knee straightens. I'm going to skip the strap on this side, but of course you're welcome to repeat that. Gently pulling in the left leg, stretching through the hamstring. Maybe playing with pointing and flexing the toe. And then your version of opening up that left hip. So you can bend the knee, opening it up to the side like we did at the beginning of class. Wherever you are, right arm comes out long beside you. You can also add the gaze here to gaze over the right hand. Inhale, looking up to the ceiling. Bring the left knee in and touch the ball of the left foot down to the mat to pick up the hips and stack them. So you can pull the left knee across your body for a gentle spinal twist on this side. Staying aware of your breathing, gazing over the left hand. On your next inhale, gazing up to the ceiling, bringing the knee back in, allow the hands to help you. Setting the ball of the foot back down to adjust the hips and pull the knees in. Massage the low back, rolling side to side, using the weight of your body against the ground. Taking any final movements that you'd like to take before we come into our final resting pose, Shavasana, the same pose that we started in. Take your time to get there. Legs out long, or if it feels more comfortable for your back, again, option to keep the soles of the feet planted, maybe even allowing the knees to fall in toward one another. Whichever option works for you, settling in. Shavasana is a great opportunity for us to bring some stillness into our practice. It's one of the hardest poses because we're committing to complete stillness. We've worked out the kinks and the knots through our physical practice. Now we allow our body and mind a chance to rest. We'll be here for a few minutes. I'll guide you through a little body scan, beginning with the top of the head and the forehead, relaxing the muscles, down into the eyebrows, corners of the eyes, feeling them soften. Relaxing the jaw, noticing if your tongue is stuck on the roof of your mouth, you can release it. Maybe gently parting the lips to keep the jaw relaxed. Allowing shoulders to fall open, arms be heavy, palms facing up toward the sky. Moving down through the torso and hips, relaxing any tiny muscles that are holding on to tension. Down through the legs, ankles and feet, allowing them to be heavy, to fall without any effort. Allowing your breath to return to its natural rhythm. We'll be here for a few minutes. I'll let you know when it's time to reawaken. Until then, be at rest. Begin to bring some awareness and depth back into your breathing. Wiggling fingers and toes. Maybe turning head side to side gently. Bringing the head back through center, reach arms up and over. Taking a nice big stretch, inhale. And exhale, relax. Rolling onto one side, keeping the eyes closed or coming up to a comfortable seat, however feels good to you. Gently closing the eyes. Placing hands down to the knees or maybe resting on the belly. Maybe one on the heart. I want to thank you for joining me in class today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you back soon. Bowing forward with gratitude. Thank you so much. Have a great day.